Okay. Well, I know for me and for many, it was quite a shock to hear that Margaret has passed on. This opening slide in with the purple color, purple was Margaret's favorite color. And you see her here. She was just a very passionate person who was committed to helping. I feel privileged to have known both Margaret and Peter through EDP, Healthcare Work Group, and the steering committee. They were actually founding members of EDP and the Healthcare Work Group. She always could be counted on. Next slide, please.
It's up.
All set? Okay. Margaret could always be counted on to not just show up, but to work, to jump right in and take on responsibilities. We attended numerous protests, hearings. We met with Bigelow's office, and she is an assertive but respectful person as she expressed her support for single payer health care. We had a very strong healthcare work group that really was working hard on single payer. We were actually a little, we were connected with the Healthcare for All California organization. One of the very involved people, John McCoy, we worked closely with him. And in addition, she was a strong proponent of women's rights. She worked for Planned Parenthood for many years. And you see here, you know, her with everyone needs affordable health care. That was our theme. And in the middle, you see the wallet card in English that Margaret was the lead person on developing and getting the support of El Dorado County Public Health Department and all of the local providers in town to be able to provide this information to our community. The project was actually in response to, back at the very beginning, we had teenagers that came to El Dorado Progressive's meeting, and I remember they came up to Margaret and I at the end of one of the large meetings at Federated Church and asked if we would be willing to take on this project to help them get information to teenagers about reproductive rights. And also we added uninsured people and underinsured people. So this is the card. It's your body, it's your life, it's your right. That Margaret worked on. Christy also was the designer, again here. And then these were distributed throughout the city and county in order for people to know what they can do. There was a South Lake Tahoe version, and also Margaret got it translated into Spanish, so we had Spanish versions. Next slide, please.
It's there.
So Margaret and Peter came here from England, and their commitment to making a difference for people in El Dorado County was far greater than many people who live here in El Dorado County. They were putting a lot of their time into the reproductive health and single payer advocacy and education. We're sending strength and courage to Peter, their two sons, wives, and grandchildren as they navigate the future without Margaret. And this last piece, Peter told us that they were due to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary this year. They were actually, this picture on the far left, they were just early 20-somethings when they got together and were married. And they came to this country shortly after that. Ah, we hope we might see Peter up here this fall. They were going to come up here around their anniversary to have a celebration, and he's unclear, of course, at this point what life is going to bring for him. They live in Orange County, and Peter may make it up here with family to have a celebration. Next slide, please. So these quotes are quotes from people who knew Margaret well, and they really inform us about the lively, fun-loving, blunt, and all-around wonderful woman. She truly was a force of nature with her love and exuberance. She was joyful, and she was just a general gem of a human being, and we will miss her terribly. We all need to do as she did, to live life to the fullest and do what makes us happy and feel the commitment that she had to making a difference for people in El Dorado County. It's really, excuse me. So, in closing, on the last slide, as we said, Margaret was a fierce advocate for universal health care, and we encourage you to donate to this organization. There's a place to do it in Margaret's honor as you fill out your donation, so that if you type this tinyurl.com Margaret Madams into your browser, it will take you directly to the Healthcare for All California donation page, and you can also poke around there. They also have a lot of information about what's going on at the state level and events that they're involved in, and it's you can sign up to get updates from them as well. So with that, we want to say that Margaret Madams left her mark here with El Dorado Progressive and in El Dorado County. And now we invite you to raise your hand if you would like to share any thoughts you have about Margaret. Thank you.
Okay, anybody?
Sarah has her hand up.
Okay, go for it, Sarah.
I did not know Margaret well, but I did know her, and she was a very down-to-earth, incredibly helpful person. When we were having our meetings at the town hall on Sundays, Margaret did not ever fail to offer to help me set up the refreshment table, to make coffee, to do whatever needed to be done. We had many of our steering committee meetings at Margaret and Peter's house that was kind of centrally located. And I have, in my work as a field nurse in home health, I was exposed to all sorts of people in all sorts of neighborhoods. And coming from a working class background myself, I was always most comfortable in the more modest homes and neighborhoods that I went to. And I always feel kind of intimidated by people that have a lot of material wealth or live in, larger homes and I feel like that I don't have anything in common with them. Peter and Margaret had what I can only refer to as an adobe mansion. It was an absolutely huge adobe house. It had an infinity pool. It had a guest little cabana and another pool and this kind of waiting pool over here. And I never felt that way at their house. I always felt like they were me, that they saw me for who I was, and they welcomed me there on, and I never ever felt that intimidated by that place. And it was actually one of the most, really impressive homes I've ever seen. So, and again, we had our meetings, and Margaret she was constantly helpful all the time. I'm going to miss knowing that she is in the world with us.
Thank you. Is there anybody? Oh, go for it, Christy. Go ahead.
I just wanted to chip in. I didn't work with Margaret quite so much in actual EDP. Peter was my cohort. He's the one who roped me into EDP in the first place. We worked on the website together, and that's how I got in with the graphics and that sort of thing. And I don't know if anybody else has had this situation where you meet somebody in a kind of a work situation, and then you go to meet their spouse, and oftentimes the spouse is not really friendly, or you just don't get along. And oh my gosh, when I first met Margaret, the open arms, the welcoming, as everybody else has said, she just made me feel so loved in so many ways. And my partner, Gary, the four of us all got along. It was one of those anomalies that just doesn't happen very often in a lifetime. And I miss her desperately.
Thank you, Christy. Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say other than, EDP, right? Being in El Dorado Progressives, we've had a chance to meet a lot of people, and a lot of truly amazing people. And I don't think I've ever met anybody like Margaret, because she worked tremendously hard and made it seem so easy and so effortless, and she pulled off some amazing things to not only get those reproductive health care cards created in El Dorado County, but to have our logo on them and distributed through the county public health, and to do something that truly needed to be done and make sure that it reached the communities that needed to be reached. Was something of a miracle, and she never made it seem like it was any sweat at all. And I think there was a lot of love in for her community and for people coming from her. But I also love the fact that sometimes she would just be so beautifully blunt when something was wrong and just say it. And she has an amazing combination of traits that you just don't find very often. And I think she'll be truly missed by all who knew her in this world.
Thanks. Anybody else before I say anything? Okay, well, and I didn't know Margaret that well either. I worked a little bit with Peter, and he was very helpful and had a lot of great ideas. But I went to the meetings, and Margaret was always there, and she was always helping. And boy, that house, not just the stuff Sarah talked about, but the view and the scary driveway. But she was always really, really nice and really, really real. And she is probably the person who finally gave me the guts to do my hair purple. So thank you, Margaret. Okay, does anybody else want to say anything?
I do.
Yep. Julie? Mhm.
I too only met her a few times and had only a few one-on-one conversations, but yeah, she was really inspiring. I really liked her authenticity, her realness, and yeah, her make it happen. She made things happen. Good person.
All right, anybody else?
Yep, I got a couple of things. So since this is being recorded for Peter, we send our condolences to you. All of us are gonna miss Margaret, and not as much as you will. I used to go over to what Sarah calls the Adobe Mansion to set up for EDP meetings. So I'd be there ahead of times, and also dealing with some of the IT stuff crossover and any change of getting the information and communication stuff. So I was there a lot of times, and it was just, great fun with Peter and Margaret. And as they said, always welcoming, always great to be there. And we got to talk about jolly old UK. So, so that was also good to talk about as being immigrants is always, even though it's your allies, there's still a difference from there and here, and talking about going back to visit and all. And yep, we miss Margaret, and I'm glad you got to enjoy the RV life and travel for a while. And hopefully we look forward to seeing you again, Peter. Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, well, Peter, we send you our condolences, and what a shock.